Russia appears to be burning off large amounts of natural gas as Europe and other parts of the world grapple with soaring energy prices. The satellite images of a Russian energy facility near the border with Finland have caused alarm. They show the Portovaya installation and you can see the size of the flare from above. The image has been colorized to highlight the flames. One estimate suggests as much as $10 million worth of gas is being burnt every day. And this is thought to have been going on for months. This is what the situation looks like from the ground. On the right, above the trees, is the sun. On the left, you can see the orange glare and haze from the gas that's being burnt off. The reason for the fire is not known. Gazprom, Russia's state-controlled energy giant that owns the plant, has not responded to requests for comment.
Clashes between rival militia groups in Libya erupted in the capital Tripoli on Saturday. Supporters of Haitham al-Tajuri, the leader of the Tripoli Revolutionaries Brigade, fought with armed groups linked to militia leader Abdul Ghani al-Kikli. Witnesses say al-Tajuri's TRP defeated al-Kikli's forces to take control of the internal security headquarters, holding 3 people and seizing several cars. Libya has faced conflict and instability since a NATO-backed uprising killed the former dictator Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. The country was divided by rival administrations, one in the east under military commander Khalifa Hifter and a UN-supported administration in the capital of Tripoli in the west.
An airstrike in the capital of Ethiopia's Tigray region could signal a new phase of renewed fighting. Local media say the central government is responsible for the attack in an area controlled by rebels from the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, or TPLF. The fighting, which began earlier this week, marks the end of a ceasefire that was agreed to in March. It also derails efforts to negotiate a peace deal between Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government and TPLF fighters.
Taiwan and the United States seem to be deepening their ties. The two countries have inked a 6-year-long deal for ammunition and parts of Apache and Black Hawk helicopters. The $45 million deal will be implemented in the last month of this year and will go on till December 2028. Now, the contract notice for the deal signed between Army and the American Institute in Taiwan was published last week. The agreement was part of a US-driven effort reportedly aimed at addressing fears that Taiwan could be crippled by a Chinese blockade on military material, energy and other resources. According to media reports, the contract would ensure that the Army's helicopters have enough ammunition and spare components to fight if the country were to be surrounded.
Lebanon's state-run electricity company, Electricité de Liban, has announced that the country's only functioning power plant would cease operation on Friday as a result of depleted fuel reserves. For hundreds of thousands of Lebanese, it will mean a total blackout. For the last 30 years, the state has offered Lebanese about 12 hours of power per day, which is often supplemented by citizens with private generator subscriptions. But since the economic crisis began in 2019, the state is contributing less than 3 hours, and citizens can barely afford generators. Fuel from Iraq has helped prop the country up in recent years, but officials say another shipment might not arrive until mid-next month.
Tonight, Moderna suing vaccine giant Pfizer and BioNTech, accusing its rival of violating patents on groundbreaking mRNA technology used in its COVID shots. The biotech startup saying, "We believe that Pfizer and BioNTech unlawfully copied Moderna's inventions, and they have continued to use them without permission." Pfizer says it was surprised by the lawsuit, adding its own vaccine was based on BioNTech's proprietary mRNA technology. We remain confident in our intellectual property supporting the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and will vigorously defend against the allegations of the lawsuit.
Now, Pakistan's government has declared a national emergency after devastating floods ravaged parts of the country. Over 1,000 deaths have been reported. Around 45 million people have been displaced. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif visited the southern Sindh region to examine the devastation. Pakistan is experiencing its worst floods since 2010. The army has been deployed to provide relief to the worst affected areas. The Balochistan and Sindh regions here worst affected, reporting more than half of the country's over 1,000 casualties. Officials said that Balochistan's regional capital Quetta has been cut off from the rest of the country indefinitely, as highways and bridges have been swept away by the flood waters. Large parts of Balochistan remain submerged.
A huge step for the global transition to net zero emissions. California has become the first place in the world to pass a new law that will require all new cars to run on alternative fuel by 2035. A bold move that the state's governor described as the beginning of the end for the internal combustion engine. A radical transformation that will need a lot of infrastructure changes in the most populous state in the US. California currently has around 80,000 public chargers for electric cars. That will have to increase to 1.2 million by 2030, according to the California Energy Commission.